Welcome in to the PHNX Mercury Show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. I'm Corbin, joined by the amazing Aaliyah Baines. I'm sorry, the energy just...
enthusiastic today.
Oh, the Corbin mentality is hard to kick in. It feels like it's Josh asks the pertinent questions. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Also Skylar Diggins-Smith. Yes, exactly. Isaiah in the house, how's it going? First, I can't bury the lead. Aaliyah, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Just getting here, getting to be end of summer, moving soon, which is like never fun, but also somewhat fun. New places, new vibes, but then just like the moving process and packing, and you know how it goes. Just adulting.
Yeah. I thought you already moved. I didn't know you were doing it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Fun. I am also moving, so that's funny that is a thing. Yeah, end of the month's gonna be hilarious because I never think that I have a lot of stuff. I consider myself someone who's pretty, clear and a simple person. And then I look and I see 8 pairs of shoes. I'm like, I don't even wear you. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So that's been fun. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Me wearing a Sun shirt. I know. Mallory, here's the thing. I just love ball. NBA. WNBA, the big three, all the teams. I'm not a Suns fan. Don't get it twisted. I just love my Lakers shirt in the room. But I support Arizona, PHNX, I'm sorry. I know.
I think you'll be getting a contract divorce letter soon based off that.
You know what? Listen. Until I get my 4-piece meal, there's no contract divorce happening. I can't leave.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, right. Josh.
Totally did pick the word.
This has been pretty mild for like an Arizona summer, I feel like. I've spent a couple down here, and it's hot, but it's nowhere near the worst that I've seen.
Speak for yourself on that, ma'am. And I literally, I get you. It has been worse. I can agree with that. But this has felt rough to me. I mean, I've had some days where I'm just like,
oh yeah, like
please.
The Pacific Northwest of me is like dreaming for colder weather, but I just feel like overall, like around 100 pretty much every day. So I don't know.
Yeah, guess you're right. What's up, Bailey? Shout out Bailey Caldwell. Check him out on Twitter. The dude, noted WNBA fan, has an amazing WNBA podcast. Also a Sparks enthusiast, good guy. But listen, this has been fun. I want to talk about everything but the Mercury, but this is the PHNX Mercury show, not the PHNX Corbin and Aaliyah show. So we have to talk about them. Let's start with Skylar Diggins-Smith, who is in the news. First off, shout out to the Phoenix Mercury and their media team because they won in the past week and a half, slipped us the news that Dan Taurasi was gone for the year. And now we also are informed that Skylar Diggins-Smith will miss the last 2 games of the regular season due to personal reasons. And first off, that's extremely unfortunate. Really hope the Skylar's okay. Bailey literally just said that exactly. We don't know what is the issue. She has to delete her Twitter account. So, and honestly, I do believe that people have a right to privacy. So it's not like I'm, hunting down Instagram or anything else. We just hope that at the end of the day, everything is okay. It's been a long, tumultuous year. I'm definitely on the court. I imagine off it as well. Aaliyah, what are your thoughts on just the initial news of the lost Skylar Diggins-Smith?
Yeah, obviously, just like you said, the way that they sneak in these like season-altering details just like so casually, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. I like get it email notification from the team, and I'm like, oh, it's just a roster update or just a whatever. And it's like, oh, by the way, like your 2 core players are out for the rest of the season. And yeah, it's wild. But obviously all the things that you said, like, you know, she deactivated her Twitter account, which is, you know, she's already kind of been vocal and or obvious about just like her non-love of like open criticism on social media, which is fine. I know I wouldn't be able to handle it. I actually last night was seeing some criticism about I don't know if it was a different show. I don't know if it was what it was, but it was like if not the officiators, the like broadcast for the game yesterday. And my brain was registering broadcast as podcast, and I thought they were talking about us, and I thought they were like saying they hated us, and like it was just all these people in these threads about like not liking the broadcast. But I was literally, my brain could not function that, and I thought we were getting a bunch of hate, and I was freaking out. And I almost texted you, and I was like, "What did we do? Like, I didn't think we did anything wrong."
No, I thought pretty good.
I know, right?
Oh man.
So yeah, that just goes to show that like even the thought of having any sort of like open criticism like that is, I know I couldn't handle it. So absolutely no blame to her for having to take time for herself. Obviously, you know, we hope everything okay. I hope it's nothing serious, and that it's just, you know, it's a super high pressure job. Like being a professional athlete is not easy, especially on top of being a mother, and like school's just starting here in Arizona. So like there's just, it's a big time of transition. Obviously the season hasn't gone as we expected. There's been pretty open like quorums between her and like the coaching staff. So I think just at the end of the day, based on what we know, like she just needs this end of the season for herself. I don't think anyone expects them, if we do make the playoffs, to go very far. So it's not like, you know, we really had much season left for her to cooperate or like to take part in. So I think she's just doing what's best for her. Kind of same with Diana and the quad injury. I don't think it was that serious of an injury, but I think it was enough that it's like, if she does want to come back next season, might as well get started, you know, rehabbing and everything now. Mallory, if you're watching on Twitter, oh yeah, come hang out in the chat, guys. Let us know your thoughts. What do you think about the situation? I did see someone said that like on the WNBA website, it says that she was suspended.
I was about to.
Yeah, I like want to say that just means like her contract is suspended.
And that's you'd be exactly right. Yeah, I was just apparently not even 10 minutes ago. M.A. Vopel on ESPN.com wrote an article, and at the very beginning it says, yeah, the Mercury will suspend her contract, so she won't be returning to the team even if they do make the playoffs. So this has been the 2021-2022 campaign for Skylar Diggins-Smith. So yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Sudden, and you know, hopefully it's just like she just needs the little bit of extra time to focus on herself, focus on her family, get rehabbed, get prepped and ready for next year. Yeah,
it like you said, it's unfortunate. That piece of news specifically was shocking to me because I thought, okay, like definitely the next 2 games, and then maybe we'll see what happens. But you're right. At the end of the day, you know, you said it. It's sports, high pressure job. WNBA already tough in terms of literally everything. You know, making the team, travel situation, all of that, constant media pressure, especially on the Phoenix Mercury side with everything going on. In any other job, if you need a couple of days to take a break and just step away, you can do that. You know what I mean? With professional athletes, it's always that bigger magnifying glass, a lot more pressure. Every abscess is magnified, and you don't have that ability to just, you know, take that step back. So if that is indeed what is happening, full support. Even if it's not, I mean, obviously we just want to hope that she is okay first and foremost. But like, I totally understand that, and I get where you're going with that, Lee, as well. Like, it's a lot, and yeah, if you need to do what's best for you and take that time away, like, I don't think that any other job that would be just what that would be, you know. Yeah. So yeah, do you think Josh asked, do you think Skylar would should get as much criticism as Kyler Murray, DeAndre Ayton would in a situation like this? Personally, I don't. I think there's 2 totally different situations. The pressure cooker of a season that the Mercury have had already compounds the pressure on an athlete, I would imagine. You know, Ayton didn't go through that. You know, neither did Murray. And Bailey, see, excellent point. They had to suspend her contract to be eligible to sign a replacement player. Thank you for that, man. And speaking of that, Mercury did in the press release say that they are going to sign a replacement player who should be available for tomorrow's game. So that will definitely be interesting for certain. But yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. I do have a side point on that because and I'm not trying to throw any hate on anyone. I actually enjoy her as a broadcaster, but she put out a point, and I disagree, and I just want to get your take on it. Cindy Brunson for the Phoenix Mercury had tweeted that she wonders if Skylar missing these next 2 games and now the rest of the season will negatively impact her shot to make the WNBA first or second team since votes aren't due until Sunday. I don't. I think that she is very much deserving of that. I mean, I had her in my top 10 for MVP, like a distant 5th, but like in that discussion, just because team success overall. But like she had an amazing year, led the team in points, 19.7, led the team in assists, 5.5, played in 30 of the 34 games, like performed at all-star level in every game she played pretty much. I don't know what else you would be looking for, but what are your thoughts, Leah?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I definitely don't think that they should, but I think that they will, if that makes sense. I think people will take this as a reason not to vote for her. Not that they should, though. I definitely still think that she deserves those spots and that she's worked the hardest on this team throughout this entire season, especially in the wake of everything that has happened and all the other, team drama and the Brittany situation and just everything. I think accumulation of it all was just too much, which is completely understandable, like we've said. But yeah, I think it's going to affect it, unfortunately. Not that it should. Yeah, I agree with you, Bailey. Like if these 2 games are held against her, that would be an awful look. But
absolutely,
even then, there was already questions on if she was going to make an all-star roster. And that was undeniable that she should have. Josh, do you think if the WNBA had better accommodations for their players, that Skylar may not have needed this break? Yes and no. I think. Possible. You never know how a season's going to go. And a lot of things outside of WNBA accommodations, like having a new coach and new coaching staff and Tina leaving kind of in the middle of the season and various injuries throughout it all, that's just basketball. And that's just unfortunate realities of how professional sports goes. I mean, you could argue that, if Brittany didn't have to go to Russia to play, then she wouldn't be in that situation, obviously. But that again is outside the scope of anyone else's responsibility. So I do think that players deserve way more accommodations and that, the Sparks that were sleeping in the airport, there's definitely plenty that the league needs to improve on to help, promote the mental health and ability of players to kind of have more self-care opportunities. And I tweeted after the unfortunate, BG news that she was sentenced 9.5 years, when Skylar said, we didn't even want to play that day. That news dropped, right as they were, at shootout before a game. Players should have the opportunity to be no, as a collective unit, as this isn't a place where we feel we're comfortable playing or have the headspace to play at our highest level. That should be an option for players across the board of basketball. That's not even an option in the NBA. So yeah, yes, players need improvement. Does that directly impact how, Skylar making the decision to step away for the rest of the season? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's definitely a layered kind of situation because you're right. There's a lot, and we already broke it down, so I'm not going to say it all again, that goes into that. But then again, it's because we don't know. You know what I mean? Could be a variety of factors that went into it. There's already been tension around the team. If you want to even look that way, there's so many different avenues with which that can all be explored. But, just putting a bow on that, hopefully, like we both stated, everyone in the chats agreed with, first and foremost, Skylar Diggins-Smith and just making sure that she is in a good space or on that path to be in a good space. And if this taking time away is what she needs to do so, full support on that front. Yeah, but for the Mercury, oh man, I've been trying to find energy all day for this, Aaliyah, and it's just been so hard. It's been so hard. But let's talk about the Lynx first. Mercury lost a tough game against the Lynx. And this is a game where you had career highs from Megan Gustafson. I always have been Gustafson. Gustafson. That's it. That's the third time I said it right perfectly. Fine. All right. But then it wasn't just her. You also had a huge game from Sophie Cunningham. You also had a big game as well from just the consistent hustle player for the Phoenix Mercury all season long, Shea Petty. And yet it just wasn't enough down the stretch. The Minnesota Lynx behind Aerial Powers, big time. Also, Sylvia Fowles late. Kayla McBride had a good game as well. And it was just too much. You know, the Lynx really came down the stretch in the fourth quarter and took a lead that they would not relinquish as they ended up winning the game 86-77. Yeah. And both, Bailey, we have to, I'm about to say, Sophie Cunningham is such an interesting player among the fan base and opponents alike, both covering and not. We're going to talk about that, but I totally agree. But I want to get your thoughts on the game, Aaliyah. Just from the beginning, watching it, seeing Sophie get hot, wondering if that team could just hold on. In the fourth quarter, unfortunately, Lynx outscored the Mercury 27-17, really made the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the perfect example and accumulation of what I've been saying all season of you cannot rely on these older veteran players to be able to play and carry a team an entire season. They're going to get hurt. They're going to get exhausted. They're going to have to step out for whatever reason. And you don't have a bench and the rest of your team that's in position to pick up the pace. And yeah, I just think like this is the perfect storm that Nygaard's created for herself. Clearly, these bench players have proven that they could step up to this level. They're just trying to find their feet and trying to find the longevity in their game and how can they play 100% for a full 4 quarters. But here we are, 2 games away from playoffs with we're trying to clinch a spot at the very bottom. Like you created this mess. I guess this is the bed that we have to lay in at this point. That game was like you said, all the things that you listed were great highlights, and everyone was. It was so good to see that these players that we hadn't seen all season kind of flourish, but it's just too little, too late. I think. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like this is what we get at this point. Like I don't know what to say. Like Nygaard made it.
We're gonna blame Nygaard for this. It's funny. During I think it was the third quarter, I tweeted out, listen, this Mercury team is playing with fight, with passion. They're really taking after their coach. And I did not think that was going to come back and bite me, but it totally did. But I don't think it was, again, because of it. I think it was, like you said, they ran out of gas. I mean, Megan had a career high 15 points off the bench. I'm willing to bet that was probably one of the 3 highest bench production games we've had all season. And that would be 19 points because Yvonne Turner added 4 off the bench, and that was it. Rashonda Gray played 4 minutes. Sam Thomas played 1. So what that means is we literally pick up Jenny Sims and say, listen, you got 28 minutes. Can you do it? Thank you. Diamond DeShields 32, right? Oh. Brianna Turner and Shea Petty 34 minutes apiece. Sophie Cunningham a whopping 38 minutes.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree. If anything, the fact that Sophie was able to give that amount of production, 24 points, 4 boards, 6 to 10 from 3, and, kind of fall off, but not really. I mean, she was already kind of overextending herself, is insane. So, I don't know. Here's a question I propose to you. Was it more that the Mercury lost this game or the Lynx won it? Because Mariah Jefferson went off in the fourth quarter. She was just a passing machine. 12 assists, only 2 turnovers. Like, wow. And then, of course, Kayla McBride did damage. Aerial Powers, even battling that knee injury off the bench, did damage. We already know Sylvia Fowles and what she does, even injured as well. Like, what do you think was kind of the bigger thing to blame in this situation?
I mean, I think we're very equally stacked. I think both teams have kind of a lot going on roster-wise and injury-wise and kind of et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And at the end of the day, they had a little bit more gas than we did. That's, I agree. I don't think it was like a blowout on the Lynx part or like we completely dropped the ball like coming out of half. Like I think we held in there a little bit and like we were definitely showing some improvement and pulling out some cards that we hadn't yet. But at the end of the day, we just didn't have the stamina to like push it over that fourth quarter like lull that we saw. So I don't know.
I'm with you. It's again, I feel like I'm gonna set a record for the word unfortunate in this podcast. But again, unfortunate loss for the Mercury. We're gonna get down to the convoluted playoff picture that is just in the air right now. But first, I do want to talk about one Sophie Cunningham. Listen. Monster game. Unfortunately, another monster game loss. Remember, she had 36 points in a double overtime game. Was it also against the Lynx? No. This was during summer leagues. I watched it, but I can't remember the team exactly. I can find out. It's not like it's that big a deal. I feel like it was. But anyway, I'm gonna look it up right now. But she had career at 36 points in one. She's already been amazing in this season, huh?
It was the Lynx.
See, they have some fun games. Fun games. That game was fun.
I feel like we're a good matchup. We played games really well, and kind of I don't know. We bring the best of each other, and whoever happens to get the overhand just at the very end is the one who wins it.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's another, again, and she brings her A game against the Lynx. But Sophie, I mean, she has been pretty much all year. I mean, playing out of position at the 4, starting career high in games, 18 games started out of the 26 she's played. Career high in points, career high in rebounds. She's actually third on the team in points and rebounds. She's been really consistent, knocking down the 3 at a high clip. This isn't the highest of her career, shooting 39% this season. She shot 41% last year, but she's taking a whopping 6.4 this year, which is easily the most she's ever taken. 2.6 was her high last. She's been amazing. So why is it that I kind of know the answer to this, but we have to ask the question anyway. When anyone brings up most improved player, 6th woman of the year, which Cindy Brunson threw out there, I don't know if she meant to say that, but if she did, she was inaccurate because she's starting. She's a starter. But anytime you remember Sophie Cunningham in awards, it doesn't get brought up because nobody wants to do it because why? That's why I ask you, Lily. I'm giving you that question.
Yeah, no, I think
how do you put this?
I agree with all the Sophie sentiments. I think she's an amazing basketball player and she has a very high basketball IQ, and she my quorums with her on the court prior to this season were always she's just a little bit inconsistent when she pops off. She has really, really big games, but she doesn't have them all the time. And this season she's proven me otherwise. She's shown up almost every single time with big game changing stats and really swayed the flow of the game in the positive for the Mercury. So she's upheld every expectation I had for her on the court. I think that just the nature of the WNBA and the nature of the WNBA fan base, we have a lot more of an involved fan base than I would say most professional sports leagues. And a lot of people who watch the WNBA are very informed and very educated and very socially aware people. And so I think when you combine that aspect of things with people who kind of have shown that they don't identify in similar ways or don't believe in similar things, it creates kind of that barrier. And people want to and do love Sophie Cunningham, the basketball player, but don't necessarily love Sophie Cunningham, the person. And that's where I think people kind of get reservations, because for a lot of people, who you are off the court means more than how you play on the court. And so when you look at it from that perspective, a lot of people aren't going to give Sophie her flowers. So I think if you divide those two things, Sophie Cunningham, the person, and Sophie Cunningham, the basketball player, yeah, absolutely give that girl all the praise and awards and whatever on the court. She has been amazing. She's been one of the most consistent people on this roster all season in the wake of all of the drama and changes and everything. So yeah, absolutely. She deserves all the praise and all the awards and everything that she can get, because at this point, she's the only constant, really, other than Shea Petty and Brianna Turner and the couple of bench players that Nygaard hasn't played all season. So other than that, Sophie Cunningham is the Phoenix Mercury this season, arguably. So yeah, that's my take on it. I just think that we have too involved of a fan base to really see people wrap around Sophie like that, and not even just Sophie. It could be anyone who has similar ideologies. Yeah. Jordan's saying, as a 76ers fan, this year is our baby. Let's go. Don't watch the NBA, but yes, good for you. Love that. Anyway, yeah. What are your thoughts, though? How do you feel about Sophie? What do you think?
I mean, this is where
critical. Please tell me, humble me, give me.
No. I think you deserve the flowers for that excellent explanation. That was concise. That was even keeled. I'm gonna take the cop out and go, I agree 100% with what you're saying, because it's the truth, but also because, yeah, I think that Sophie's a divisive player. Like I said, if you just watch her on the court all the time, actually, even then, there's some plays. She's a physical, scrappy player who like falls in that line once in a while between scrappy and like, all right, little under the bridge type of behavior. But if you're a fan of hers, if it's one of the classic archetypes of a player. If she's on your team, you're gonna ride or die for her. Now that's not exactly the case with Sophie, because like for me, if she's on my team, I'm not going to actively dislike her. Like that's how I looked at it going into it. This year, no, she's definitely like earned a lot more respect, especially playing the 4 full time after Tina Charles had her contract divorce. What is Lee laughing at? Because now I'm curious.
Nothing.
Okay, but like aside from that, I don't know. It's hard to separate it. I think if we are going to focus on the basketball portion of it, which is why she would win most Improved Player anyway, Nikai Duncan at Basketball News wrote an amazing article a couple weeks back on the impact that Sophie Cunningham has had on the floor, opening up the spacing for the Mercury offense, making it possible for them to have more freedom at the time for Skylar Diggins-Smith to operate, putting other players at ease in terms of being more comfortable in their roles, because the defense can't sell out. They have to stay on Sophie Cunningham because she can knock down a three. Over 60% of her shots are coming from out there, and she's been doing it at a high clip. So check out that piece from Nikai Duncan. It was very, very good. With that being said, I get exactly where you're coming from, and I agree. I think for this award, most improved. Like the impact she's had has been insane. Yes, the record for the Mercury isn't exactly up to par with, I guess, what the most player would be, but it's not a team award in my opinion for that. It's literally for that player. And if you look at her numbers night and day, you want to go per 36 minutes, way better. Want to go per 100 possessions, way better. Just looking at the raw numbers, it seems like the biggest end-to-end improvement for me. So, yeah, I'm on Team Sophie for this one. And Josh put up an interesting point that, like, fan bases and the people who put on the uniforms for those teams, it's a complicated relationship at times. I mean, there's other sports right now that have a lot more divisive relationships. We're not even going to attempt to touch those, but it's a complicated interpersonal relationship there. Bottom line, Sophie should win Most Improved Player. I think both of us would agree. She should not win 6 Woman of the Year because she is not a 6 woman. So shout out to that. But yeah, we got top playoffs. We got to award people, because apparently if I don't award people, Bailey, do not. All right, listen, I told you I love my guy Bailey, but a Sparks apologist, and no, Skylar can't. Listen, Skylar's trying to potentially get away from dysfunction. Okay, like more dysfunctional possibly than the Phoenix Mercury would be your Sparks. Like why isn't talk about Miss Carter? I just want to watch you now playing. Okay, I'm not gonna throw shade here. But before we even get into any of that, it's that time, y'all. We got 2 games left. You've heard this from Aaliyah and myself all season long. We've been literally preaching it till I don't know. It's just talking about the importance, the greatness of DraftKings Sportsbook app. And we'll have 2.
You even threw me for. I didn't know where you were going.
I was trying to listen. It's hard to keep these things fresh. I'm trying to like bury the lead, and like I'm trying to mix it up.
Last time I went into like players of the week, and then I was like, shit.
No. I'm talking about DraftKings Sportsbook, y'all. I would say join the action. But literally get in before it's too late, because it's nearly there. We got 2 more games. The weekend, by the time Monday shines up, it's a wrap. Let's turn the Mercury's victories, because we need them. We'll talk about that in a second, into your own big win. New customers can bet just $5. That's it. Used to get you a foot long. Now it gets you a liter of gas. Doesn't matter. Right now, it can get you $200 in free bets with your $5. That's just a great deal regardless, okay? And it's pretty simple. If the Mercury win, you win. Now, will they win? That's not what we're here to talk to you about. We're just saying if they do, you're going to win as well, okay? I can speak from experience. I've downloaded the app. I've messed with it. Rent has gone up in recent months, so I've not been as frivolous, and a guy needs to eat. So I'm not going to tell you my biggest hits or misses in DraftKings Sportsbook, because this is a positive show. But you can go and make your own amazing memories there. DraftKings Sportsbook customers betting on WNBA hoops can also benefit from same game parlay. So combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. If you thought that Sophie Cunningham was going to knock down 6 threes and that Shea Petty was going to have a career high in points, and you put both of those legs up there, you made yourself a lot of money and probably aren't listening to this. But if you did, congrats. And if you didn't, think about it for Friday's game, right? Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you win. kind of makes sense. Pretty simple. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. That's what I do. I say a lot of things. Y'all know me on this show. Big takes, big bombastic arguments. And this is how I win. If it's not going my way, I just walk it back and pretend it never happened. And that's what you can do here with DraftKings Sportsbook. It's great. Put out the biggest bets you want. And if it's not working out, take your money back. Just pretend it never happened. Pretty simple. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code PHNX. Bet just $5, any WNBA team, but really the Mercury, because PHNX Mercury, and get $200 back in free bets if they do. If they win, you win with the promo code PHNX this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. Real quick, 21 older, Arizona only. Gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only, minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. Always tough for me. Use DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. All right, y'all. So going back to the Mercury, Yeah, we back. I didn't even ask you, Aaliyah. How's your DraftKings Sportsbook experience been as we wind down here on this tumultuous season for the Mercury? Have you put your money where your mouth is?
You know what? Like you said, rent prices these days are crazy. I have this very sensitive pit bull that I call my kid who requires very pricey food. And so instead of sending money to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, I invest it back in my dog child.
Okay, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Why do we say that if the dogs are our kids? Yeah. Like our normal kids don't require special food. We're not getting them, food from Shangri-La. We're getting them food from the dollar store. We're getting them food from,
What?
No? If y'all have kids, I don't like how we compare dogs and animals to our kids, but then put them on a higher pedestal than we probably would actual kids. You eat what I'm eating. If I'm eating at the dollar store at McDonald's, you right there with me. If I'm getting a 2 for $5, whichever I don't want, you getting. Okay, that's maybe a little mean. But the point being, I'm not gonna be like, I'll get the 2 for $5 and I'm gonna get you the double quarter pounder meal with the fries because you're my special kid. No, you a kid.
Well, first, it sounds like you don't have any kids.
I'm just, yeah. Listen, I'm the oldest of 6. I'm good right now on kids.
No, I get you, but no, he's allergic to everything, so he has to have very specific food. So, with that argument, if your kids are allergic to something, you're not going to feed it to them. Come on.
Fair enough. You got me. See, if I'd known that, I wouldn't have said that. Yeah. All right.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. You got me. All right. Cool. We're just gonna walk that back. Whatever. I thought I had a soapbox to get on, a high horse, and no, It's over. All right. Real quick. Shout out on Twitter. I hope I pronounced this right. Dano Mataya. At DRMATAYA, who graciously broke down the WNBA playoff scenarios for the final 2 playoff spots with both games left.
Thank you, because yes.
It's amazing. Again, at DRMATAYA. Beautiful just graph, has all the teams on it, 538's chance to make the playoffs. Right now, Minnesota is sitting pretty at 62%. They have 3 scenarios. We don't care about that right now. Fine. Next is New York. Miss you, Coach Sandy. Right now, they're at 51% chance of making the playoffs. They have 3 scenarios. Don't care about that. Atlanta, amazing improvement on the second half of the season. They have a 48% chance. 3 scenarios. Don't care about that. The Mercury. We're here. We're going to pause because the Sparks are in here too. They have a 1% chance, which I think is hilarious. They're not making the playoffs. But I think it's hilarious that you're saying there's a chance. Bailey, if you're out there, there's a chance. But we don't care about that either. Right now, we're looking at the Mercury, who have a whopping 5 scenarios to make the playoffs. Statistically, they have a 38% chance. I'm going to read this out to you, Aaliyah. Okay. And afterwards, I want your reaction. Okay, so scenario 1. Deep breath.
I know.
They can clinch a playoff berth with 2 wins versus Dallas and Chicago, and New York or Atlanta splitting the final 2 games with 2 Minnesota wins versus Seattle and Connecticut. Scenario 2. They can clinch a playoff berth with 2 wins versus Dallas and Chicago, and again, New York or Atlanta splitting final 2 games and a Minnesota loss versus Seattle or Connecticut. Scenario 3. They clinch a playoff berth with 2 wins versus Dallas and Chicago, and 2 Atlanta wins versus New York, and 1 Minnesota loss versus Seattle or Connecticut. I think you guys are getting the picture. They need to win 2 games with Dallas, Chicago, and even though it's not their own destiny. There is 2 more scenarios. 1, 2 New York wins versus Atlanta, and 1 Minnesota loss. And the last one, scenario 5, they clinch playoff berth with 1 win versus either Dallas or Chicago, and 2 Minnesota losses versus Seattle and Connecticut. Bailey, shout out to you. I saw you say don't deserve to make the playoffs. Dude, I respect a guy who, listen, you know your team. You got the pulse there. Aaliyah, having read all of that, what is your reaction?
Yes, my brain is not the greatest with like graphs and statistics. So I think what I want to say is the most probable is probably the last one, right? We win one and then
so you would win one and then Minnesota loses both
to Seattle and Chicago.
No, Seattle and Connecticut.
Oh, still though.
I mean,
who do we have to be? We have to be.
We have Dallas and Chicago last. Dallas tomorrow, Chicago Sunday.
Yeah, then, so I think realistically we could beat Dallas, and then I definitely think it's plausible that Minnesota loses to Seattle and Connecticut.
Okay. Yeah, because right. Okay, I was about to say those the 2 teams right now. Every other team but us controls their own destiny at the top. Because Minnesota win your 2 games. New York win your 2 games, both against Atlanta. Atlanta win your 2 games, both against New York. So it's kind of funny how that works out. But I get you. I think you're right because both of those games. I mean, even Chicago. Let's say they really don't have anything to play for. I mean, I'm sure seeding is still an issue, still a thing for them, but it's not as big a deal as the Mercury. Let's say we still have an inspired Chicago team. An inspired Chicago team is probably still better than a shorthanded Mercury team with a bench that's barely gotten any run all year, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Dallas is the weird one. What are your thoughts on the Dallas Lynx? Because, the news of Ariko Gumwale not being able to play the next 2 games and the first round has been there, but honestly, they haven't really I think some would argue they played better without her. I'm not going to comment on that regardless, but you've had a lot of players on Dallas really step up and inspire them to get some major wins. I mean, just a load of great players up and down the roster. I was going to think of Marina Mabry, but there's a few. What are your thoughts on Dallas? I know we're kind of jumping the gun here on previewing these games, but I just want to get your thoughts on, do you feel pretty confident that, okay, we have our backs against the wall, we can get this, and this is the team that it can be done against?
I think looking at the 2 games that we have left, I don't think we're going to beat Chicago. And so I think we could definitely beat Dallas. And bringing up Enrique's injury, like I feel like just this whole league this season has been riddled with like wild out of the blue injuries. Or like just season changing things happening. Liz Cambage just walks off, or so-and-so has like a secret surgery in the middle of the night that like no one knew about. It's like out for the rest of the season. It's just like, wow, what a crazy year for the WNBA.
Seriously.
But yeah, no, I don't think we're going to beat Chicago. I think that we could definitely beat Dallas if we like have our head in the game and we can mess up their offensive flow a little bit. Especially if, we're 2 dogs that are hurt. So whoever can just get a little bit more momentum is going to win that one. And yeah, like I said before, I think the Minnesota Lynx are most likely going to lose those 2, if not more favorable to lose those 2 in my brain. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting. Well, here's what we do know. We do know that we have PHNX Player Awards this week. We also know that the last time I tried to skip those, I was roasted by you. So now we're obligated to do that. And we also know that you're going first, Aaliyah. So who are your PHNX Player and Hustle Player of the Award? Of the week of the award?
Yes, my Player of the Week does go to Sophie. Like all the amazing stats and reasons that we listed so far this show, she's been the most consistent this season. And is really just our last man standing as far as leaders right now. And then Hustle Player of the Week, I want to give it to Megan. She had an amazing game last time coming off the bench. Like, I feel like she's had a couple of games this season where she's been given a little bit of time to prove herself and show how she's going to fit in. And so, yeah, I'm proud of her for just sticking in it, and especially this late in the game, just still showing up and giving 100% when she has the opportunity to. So,
yeah. Absolutely. I do have to push back a little bit. You said Cunningham is one of our last leaders. You're forgetting Coach Nygaard, so come on. But I'm going to say my player of the week is also Sophie Cunningham. I mean, come on. Do we really have – is there really – I mean, it was either going to be her or Megan. No. Megan played amazing, but Sophie has been consistent. And honestly, we needed every one of those threes. We needed, like, the majority of those points. So we're going to give it to her. My hustle player of the week is going to go to Shea Petty. Megan just missed it, but Shea's been really our most consistent. I think once we tally up the numbers, she's going to win the PHNX Hustle Player of the Year award just because of how consistent she's been on that end. And she's also raised her level of play. Like, yes, career high in their last game, but she was just consistent, if not matching that total the game before. And so the fact that she's been able to play really well, she had a big game against the Liberty. The way she's been able to kind of step up when they needed her most, playing everything from 1 through 3, coming as a 6th woman, that would be someone, if she wasn't pressed into starting, I would nominate for that award. Like, everything we've needed, she's really done her best to fill the gaps. And so that's been a player I would love to nominate there. But, yeah, that is – wow. I mean, we got 2 more games. We've already kind of previewed them, what we think, what we don't. We're both not high on Chicago, which is a shame. But it's not really going to be a finals rematch. It is, but it's going to lack the punch of one. Even though we were injured in the finals during that too, so not that big a difference. But I have to ask, what is your confidence level that the Mercury win one of them? Like, maybe I'm a little overly pessimistic, but like, I saw a video of Kia Nurse working out, right? And I'm like, honestly, just call it a wrap. Like, I don't think it's worth it for her to come back. I just don't know if we have the juice left. I mean, it's not like the teams we're playing are bad teams or more like the Minnesota Lynx where they're on our level. I think Dallas is just above our level being where we are, and we know Connecticut was far away from us even when we were fully healthy. And so with that being said, I just kind of want to get your take on it because I'm not optimistic. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, this is going to shape up to be a Baskin-Robbins shake type of night tomorrow where I just – yeah. Okay. They have Baskin-Robbins. They have good shakes. I'm just saying. And when I'm not feeling great, I go grab one. It's been a long milkshake laden summer. We actually have a little punch card. My bag's down there. But like each drink, you get a punch, and at the end, you get a free one. We're almost there. I think before the end of the season, just thanks to the Mercury, I'll get my free shake. But that's not what this is about. Aaliyah, what's your take? Why are you looking at me like that? I don't understand.
It's the weirdest tangent, but I love that for you.
I'm sorry.
No shame in that. No, not at all. Please. I've been in a froyo mood recently. Been like I've gone like twice in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, like, you put all your own little like stuff in it. It's like that's been my vibe. Anyway, I am also kind of pessimistic, but I think at the same time, over the course of this whole season, with all the curveballs that we've been thrown, I think we tend to like uptick like every time a new thing happens. And so I think now that, Skylar's for sure gone for the rest of the season, maybe this is like that final push that the rest of the team needs to like solidify that end of the season. But at the same time, realistically, like what it looks like on paper isn't too promising. So I would give like a 75% like confidence that we're going to win at least one of the next 2. And like 100% confidence that if we do make the playoffs, like we're one and done, like one round, and we're not going to make it much farther than that. So
that's fair. Mallory asked a great question. Who's going to the last regular season game on Sunday? I was going to before the news to Skylar Diggins-Smith. I don't want to show up for a loss, so I will not be. I'm just kidding. I will be at the game Sunday. That's my plan. Me and my buddy are gonna go down there for sure. Aaliyah, what about you?
I am not 100%. I am supposed to work Sunday, but also like last game of the season, like which is more important, like a paycheck or basketball? Let's see. But yeah, I'm undecided at this point, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it.
Right,
I'll for sure watch either way.
Okay, we would have it no other way, Leah. For those who are gonna be there, that'd be cool to meet up. Everyone else has done it, so I'm gonna join the party. That'd be great. Maybe 4 Peaks after, who knows? Twin Peaks, 4 Peaks.
Wow. See, okay, I'll be there for that for sure. Let me know.
I'm just saying that'd be fun. A little meetup after, that'd be kind of cool. Just throwing out there. Maybe I'll share my potato recipe with the lucky ones. We've had some interesting discussions in the Discord, the PHNX Discord, the Mercury chat. We had a lovely potato recipe that looked pretty decent, so I want to give a shout out to that person and the lovely potato recipe. But also, yeah, that's really all we have here. Thank y'all for rocking with me. It's been a great show. Rocking with my stuttering, rocking with the awesome Aaliyah as usual. Josh said, let's no call, no show so we can make the game. Josh, that is an amazing idea. Aaliyah, you should totally take that advice.
You know what?
Also, no Jack Harlow. That's another piece of advice for you. But what were you going to say?
First of all, anyway, I'm just going to move. I'm not even going to give you the time of day on that one.
I'm just saying.
But Beyonce did say to release your job. So I think between her and Josh, I think the consensus is I need to just go ahead and full send it, quit my job, go to the WNBA games.
Who needs money? That's what I say. Who needs money? When you got Mercury basketball, and maybe it's a close game and we have fun. And if not, I'll find a Baskin Robbins. Anyways, that will do it here for another episode. Aaliyah, take us home.
You know what? Go Merch.
Go Mercury. That's what we got. That's what's taking us home. Out.